Hi, I'm Krishnan. So we are going to talk about the small decisions that bring great this thing. So the story begins like this. Most of us know what waste is, and we see waste everywhere. But what happened to me was, some years back, I visited landfill and saw many children, women, rat pickers working in the most unhygienic condition that I could imagine. What moved us is the sight of women, children, and men scavenging and sorting the waste to find recyclables and sell them for a few rupees without wearing any personal protective equipment, leave alone covering their legs and hands to sort out this and risking their lives. This was way back in '94. So I decided to do something. So then I joined a company which was dealing with eradicating manual scavenging by supplying equipments to the scavenging community and municipal corporations. And I was wondering, how can this be stopped? Because at that point in time, in India, sanitation was 7%. So this brought me and my friends to think about how we bring in dignity to this community of people. It was at this moment that I found my calling to help bring dignity to these people by trying to solve the problem of waste management through technology, innovation, and above all, common sense. Basically, what was lacking was the common sense to bring in change. Now, the problem in identifying solution is known, but what is the action to be implemented in this? It is a callous attitude and irresponsible disposal. Based on my experience in solid waste management and sustainability domain, here are my thoughts about some simple steps that all of us can take to put a check on the growing menace of waste. Now, this is the statistics of waste. Waste is a consumption problem. Waste itself is not a problem. Waste is a consumption problem. Every item we throw away was once something we choose to buy. What we choose to buy, after some time it becomes a waste. How do we dispose it? Our cities are drowning not because we don't clean enough, but because we consume without thinking proper disposal methods. The reasons for increasing in waste generation are single-use plastics, single-use packaging, excessive packaging. I would call it as excessive packaging made because of the Amazon, Flipkart, whatever your this thing is there, and disposal culture. There is no disposal culture because we know what to use and not what to dispose properly. Some initiatives are being taken at the brands and manufacturers level, such as designing a product. How do we design a product? How it can be used sensibly to design a product where it will be environmentally friendly to dispose. Reduce packaging. Today we see excessive packaging in many areas, which all of us agree. And then EPR, that is extended producer responsibility. The manufacturers themselves are responsible to ensure that the packaging is recycled in a sustainable way. Reduce, reuse, and recycle is what we need to do. It is also needed that policymakers must send clear market signals that as law, legislation, fine, etc., and reward sustainable choices. If companies are maintaining sustainable choices, reward them more and more to ensure that goods are not wasted and they are recycled. Now, next, coming to the next part of it, next is segregation. What is segregation? If waste is not segregated, segregation is responsible disposal. If waste is not segregated, nothing works, not composting, not recycling, not waste to energy, nothing will work without proper segregation. Segregation is the key to waste management. If we segregate at source, wet waste can become compost or biogas, which can add revenue, and dry waste can be recycled. Then why don't we? Because segregation is not technology problem. Many people think that segregation is a technology problem. Segregation is not a technology problem, it is a human problem. Because segregation is not a technology problem, it is a behavior, attitude, mindset problem. Behavioral change in communication, as we talk BCC, is what is required, should be immediately imbibed at the tender age. That is, at the tender age we need to imbibe this behavior change of ensuring that the waste is segregated and disposed of properly. That is why we need to teach them at a tender age on the importance of waste segregation, waste handling. If done properly, segregation has ripple effect actually. It protects sanitation workers from injury and disease. As per the international study, 2% of the people in the unorganized sector of the total population is engaged in some sort of waste handling. If we don't properly segregate, it has ripple effects, as I said. It protects sanitation workers from injury and disease. It reduces landfill pressure. The landfill, we have seen the landfill. What is the pressure on the landfill? We know. It lowers processing cost. Processing cost is another expensive cost. It lowers processing cost. It enables a circular economy. So now next, what do we do after we do this? How we can bring in the change? It is through public-private partnership. Why government alone cannot fix this? Always the challenge is that we tell the government's responsibility as it is collecting taxes. It is this responsibility of the government to fix this issue and challenge and to fix it. Now, for decades, waste management in India was seen as a responsibility of the civic body. They are expected to sweep the streets, clean the roads, lift the garbage and dump it outside the city, out of sight, out of mind. But as cities are growing, we are encroaching more and more outskirts. But the cities have grown faster than the available waste management system. Municipal bodies are expected to clean hundreds of kilometers of roads, manage several tons of waste, introduce new technologies and equipments, engage citizens, protect the dignity of sanitation workers, and as a result, there is tremendous pressure on the civic bodies. We are easy to blame the civic bodies, but there is tremendous pressure on them. The government provides policy directions. The government provides policy directions and land regulation and accountability. The private sector and the NGOs bring operational expertise, technology, innovation and scale. CSR funding in waste management sector is the necessity of the current time. CSR funding in waste management. So to conclude and as a closing remarks, I would put this as, this brings me to the end of my talk, and as I have mentioned in the title, all things which I have discussed are simple to adapt and execute, provided we have clear vision and a strong will. These suggestions are based on my experience over 3 decades in this field of sustainability and waste management. I would like to end saying that if your inner compass points towards a cleaner, more livable city, here is one simple equation that can state the following. For equation, see the sequence here. This is the equation for the clean city. Thank you very much for listening to me.